like I say, man, always said it. It's not about the destination. It's all about the journey.
There used to be a road right here where I'm walking. I think they just plowed all this stuff up like yesterday. It's hard to walk in. Coming out here today because I don't want to be stuck inside all day anymore. And this is kind of like in the middle of nowhere between two big cities. By big cities, I mean small cities. But there's nobody out here and there's lots of sunshine. So I'm gonna come hang out here for a bit. For my tripod, only for the thumbnail. There's people over there. Also, hopefully this mic is working. Should be working fine. That is super itchy. It's not good. I'm very allergic to grass. I'm walking through a big grass field. Even through my jeans, I can feel my legs starting to itch. Question is, where do I do this where I'm not pointing the mic directly into the wind? Definitely looks like something laid down here. I'm gonna put I'll put the camera on this tripod. Use the tripod instead of this because this is a pain in the ass to hold. Okay. Whoa. I just stepped in doo-doo. I'm hiding behind a tree because it's like a wind blocker. Anyway, today, the subject of boredom has been on my mind and I kind of looked into it a little bit more. I mean, I've looked into it into the past about how to, I guess, de-dopamine your brain. From what I've seen, we're just totally pumped full of dopamine all the time. Everything that we do in the modern age is just trying to give ourselves like another hit of dopamine, right? For example, when it comes to your Instagram or like your Facebook or whatever it is, or YouTube, you're constantly being distracted and having like another hit. The feed is constant. You're constantly having some sort of novelty. Novelty will release a certain amount of dopamine into your brain. Whenever you're looking at something new, you're like, oh wow, you're curious. That's cool. It's interesting. It's different. That's something I've never seen. Your brain kind of has like a reward system where it's like, oh, well, that's new. There's potential there. I'm gonna look for more of that. I want something new. So I think that social media has really hijacked our brain and these reward mechanisms in our brains in order to create the feed. When you're sitting on your phone, you're constantly having a giant dump of dopamine. Every time you flip up with your thumb, it's like something new that your brain is like, oh wow, that's interesting. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. I think that really screws with your brain a lot. And I think that that's kind of dangerous. Going back to the boredom thing that we were talking about, I think that that is an actual like really good method for creativity. Because when you're bored, you start to come up with stuff just to entertain your brain. A lot of creative juices start pumping. I think that when you're constantly being distracted and you're never bored, you always have dopamine and there's no reward for doing something new. You're just like constantly trying to squeeze a little bit left out of your brain faster than your brain can make it. Then when you go to try to do something actually novel and new and creative, you don't have any more juice to like motivate you to do it. You're like, oh, well, whatever, who cares? Like, why would I go try to make these videos because there's already videos on YouTube, I could just watch those instead. So what you can do to prevent that in some way, at least mitigate it, is really just step away from it for a while. Whenever you're feeling like, oh, I want to do something, but you know, I have homework to do, I have this assignment, I have to write this paper, or I have to go create this new project, or I have to go search for clients, like newer clients, taking a minute away from everything and just getting bored without even a pen or pencil. Like, don't take notes, don't write down ideas, just sit there and let stuff flow to you, and have a pen and pencil just in case. If you have a really good idea, write it down. But the point isn't to write, the exercise isn't to come up with something, it's just to stop filling your brain with stuff. Stop distracting yourself, let the ideas flow, and then go out and make it. As you're stopping the constant consumption, your brain can build up a little bit more dopamine. So when you go out and you do the creative thing, after you've had like a period of nothing, all of a sudden you have a little kick, a kick that's bigger than the feed, right? Like oh wow, that feels good. I'm starting to itch, this grass is killing me. All of a sudden you've got a kick in your brain that's harder, like a reward that's bigger than the feed. It feels a lot better, it's a lot more rewarding, it's actually useful. So why not do that? I think that's a useful method, and I think understanding why it happens kind of allows you to control it a little bit better. So hopefully that's useful. Maybe I was clear. If not, let's reiterate. You have reward systems, in short. Chemical reward systems that push you forward. Social media hijacks those reward systems in order to get you to constantly use them so they can sell you more stuff. Which is fine, like it's cool, whatever. Like it's no judgment, no moral judgment on that. Like, these are great companies, Facebook's awesome, it does a lot of really cool things, as well as really horrible things. But selling you stuff is, you know, I have no problem with that. With that being said, sometimes it could be too much, and your brain doesn't know how to regulate itself properly. So get off of it, let the dopamine build up in your spongy brain, and then go do something. And when you're done, your brain will reward you for doing that. You'll have a sense of accomplishment. You'll have a dopamine kick greater than that a new novel thing on your thumb flicking feed would give you. I'm gonna change position. Oh, look, an entirely new place. I can't say I'm like an expert at this, but I will put in a really good effort into trying to make the most of that knowledge. Meaning, taking breaks from social media, getting off Instagram, getting off constant like Facebook or constant new YouTube videos or stuff like that, getting into a space where you can actually be creative. It's a little bit of work and you're sacrificing, a little bit. You have to sacrifice a little bit. You're sacrificing that constant dopamine feed for maybe the chance that you do something really good and you get a big kick for it, which is awesome, but it might not happen. Sometimes you might have like a creative thought, you go act on that, and then it totally fails and you have no dopamine reward and it sucks. And it's like, I don't want to do that again. I might as well just stick to the feed because here I have a constant slow drip, but no real reward, instead of going out and possibly screwing up and getting no reward at all. And instead having like, what is it, serotonin? Is that I can't remember the other one for bad emotions. You might have a really bad emotional response to sacrificing your, what's it called? Sacrificing your constant dopamine drip. I don't know, it's a choice to make. I mean, if you're cool with constantly being distracted and constantly being on Facebook, then whatever, it's your life, do whatever you want, I don't care. You can eat grass. I wonder if this is kosher for Passover. Probably not, to be honest. Passover is over. Tomorrow, we can go back to eating bread. Not that I eat that much bread, but to be honest with you, it's kind of annoying. Passover with this quarantine, it's been one weird holiday. Thumbnail done. Now it's time to make my way back through that field somehow. Really big. Woo. That was a lot easier coming out than going in. That's what she said. Oh.